All right, and welcome to the Dota 2.07 version 7 update, patch notes reading, and kind of, I don't know, we're just going to talk about it, right?
Commentary?
Yeah, commentary, kind of going through what we think, you know, yeah, commentary. So the first page we're looking at is just the 7.0 update, new journey. Really, I like the picture a lot. I don't know if that's important.
I do. I'm a big landscape guy. I do like that. Classy river there with the reflection of the mountain.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, it would make Bob Ross proud.
And of course, this is Corposant here on the other end that you don't see.
Yeah, so Leviathan, Corposant, moremobile.com, we're talking about the patch notes for Dota 2 version 7.0. So part of the reason why this is so important, Hong, have you looked much into why version 7.0 is so important?
I mean, it's impact to gameplay, yes, but is there something that I need to know? Oh, I mean, no. What are you trying to get at here?
So part of the reason why it's so incredible that this is version 7.0 and not just 6.8 or 6.9 is that version 6 came out when Ice Frog took over development. What was that, 15 or no, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 10 years in version 6.0, all the heroes, Valve has taken over development, so it's a huge landmark,
It's a
beyond just,
first. Yeah, it's a first new hero.
yeah, first new hero, not just a repeat of Dota heroes. So December 12th is apparently their go date for the test realms and stuff.
That is tomorrow for us, but also probably the day we're releasing this video.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's gonna upload tonight, but yeah, tomorrow it'll be online. So scrolling down, we see new hero Monkey King. Sun Wukong arrives, complete with Arcana, new terrain, announcement pack, and two comics, which is just awesome. New HUD, new pregame, new gameplay, and then also in this update. So first off, Hong, if we want to just tackle Monkey King,
Yeah, let's do it. The monkey in the room.
the 200-pound monkey in the room, and look at that six pack.
And he is the third Monkey King to be introduced in a MOBA, or a common MOBA.
Is he the third? Yeah, Sun Wukong and Sun Wukong and
And Sun Wukong.
and Sun Wukong. He is, I mean, he's everywhere. So he's a melee carry escape disabler, which I mean, pretty much explains him 2 out of 3 difficulty, which I think that's appropriate. What do you think on?
I think it's appropriate too. I don't actually think of the. I haven't really looked at the difficulty scale in Dota too much. I haven't really actually paid attention to that at all, but it seems reasonable.
So I mean, if we scroll down to his abilities, I mean, it's kind of showing off some of them already, but we'll go to the first ability, the Boundless Strike. So Monkey King enlarges his staff and slams it against the ground, stunning enemies in a line and dealing a critical strike based on his attack. I don't know about you, but that sounds really good.
Look at the cooldown and look at the damage that's going out to that Viper. It's like boom, boom, boom. He's dead. It's very low cooldown.
I mean, they must be playing though. I think it's more just showing it off because he has also 0 mana being used by it.
Well,
So
there.
maybe it's like but if it is in fact as much damage as it's showing, that's insane. But I mean, hey, the range also looks incredible.
Yeah, great way to kind of poke and sustain like mid lane.
Second ability, Tree Dance. Monkey King leaps onto the treetops looking for his next chance to spring into the fight. Provides Primal Spring ability. So kind of a two-parter, but really, I don't know. This is an interesting move. What do you think?
I'm really fascinated. They've basically gave another function to a thing on the map, trees. We don't outside of Timbersaw really, we don't see a lot of interaction with trees.
Yeah, I also
Well,
wonder like,
tree and protector as well, but it also like I could just imagine later on with more heroes that we're gonna have like this treetop fight where multiple people can climb trees.
oh my gosh, him. What if Timbersaw cuts a tree out from under him? I like. There's just so many interactions. Like, I wonder how it's gonna work.
I forgot to read it. There's something in the patch notes. So we're gonna go over it. We're gonna have a reaction about it. But I know there is a hero that if you kill the tree that they're currently near, they get stunned. I don't know if that's on Wukong or not.
Well, let's see, because the second part of it is Primal Spring. So from his hidden vantage in the treetops, he leaps into combat, slowing and damaging any abilities in the area impact based on how long he channeled. So channeled ability, which is neat. I mean,
He's hidden. We need to go to the actual hero section and actually see what the abilities specifically do, like right now.
I'm guessing based on it, if he's in the trees, he's hidden, which makes sense. Maybe if like Winter Wyvern has fly above treetops, that must be, oh, he reveals because he's in the treetops, something like that.
Right, right.
Then Jingu Master Monkey King charges his staff with power. Each time he strikes, enemies gain bonus damage and life steal for a limited number of attacks, which seems insane. Like his snowball during a fight is going to be crazy.
I like it. I like it a lot. I think Juggernaut needs a friend.
My favorite move, which I think everybody's favorite move, Mischief, innate power. Monkey King charges from his form to deceive, changes from his form to deceive his enemies, using his surroundings as inspiration for this guy. So and it even shows like how it's contextual.
Yeah, it's very classic, like Sun Wukong lore, to be able to confuse and deceive. He's always been playful, and that this ability just fits it perfectly. And I like how there's nothing around. He turns into like a courier, or turns into like a dropped item.
Yeah, I mean, across the board, this seems not just like a little bit of oh wow, that's really cool. I think it's very inspired. That's not something I've seen from other games. I don't know. Can you think of anything like that?
No, no, not at all.
Yeah, it's very cool, and especially like changing into the room, it sets up a lot for what he could do in the game.
Just think of how beautifully. I mean, just imagine how beautifully Dota is coded for this to happen.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, it's so perfect that the engine needs to know where he is and contextually what texture he's on to know what it turns into.
yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of if and statements with that. So, final ability, Wukong Command. Monkey King blows a tuft of fur onto the battlefield. The lore. Summoning a formation of monkey soldiers to join him in the fight. I don't know. This seems. I don't. I don't really know how to feel about this ability.
I'm looking at the numbers really quickly in this video. Actually, they're not showing it.
Like it looks like if they're nearby one of the
monkeys will animate and like hit them.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like, oh my god, this and like Earth Spirit. After Jerax's performance of Earth Spirit, and the majors, just feel like I don't know. It just reminds me a lot of Earth Spirit. Just like these random statues that animate and just smash people.
I also think it's interesting that the monkeys go out from him. I don't know if that's going to mean anything or if because the animation alone takes a second. Because you could possibly blink out of it. If you saw them coming your direction, you have the chance to blink away from it.
It's pretty hard to figure out which one he is too in the confusion. Unless, yeah, because once they're animated, they look exactly like him.
Yeah. So
yeah, I know. I feel like it's very similar to some of the other zoning ultis, that you see in the game, but with that combined element of where you may not know where this guy is.
Yeah, and especially combine that with his treetops or change into something else, like the ability for him to surprise and just take down. I think in pub games he's going to be ridiculously powerful.
Yeah, especially you do the Wukong's command into Blink Dagger, into like treetops, and people are like, "What? Where is he?"
Yeah, it has the ability to, there's a lot. Combine this with Manta style, and all of a sudden you've got, all these.
Oh, this is what I was getting at. Thank you for reminding me. It reminds me a lot of that confusion and that the amount of clones he summons is very similar to PL but without any of the negative, all the nerfs and all these other, things that are happening to illusions. He doesn't suffer from it with this ultimate.
Yeah. All right. So scrolling down, comic book. Ooh, the Monkey King terrain, which honestly I really like.
I'm a big fan of the TI one still. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, those are awesome. But I feel like the price is a little steep. $12.99 and normally $20 for this.
I'm actually that's one of those things that I actually don't feel bad about paying for in Dota is the map. Like while a skin you can use on one hero, the map you can use across the board on either side of the map on any hero at any time. I I think it requires a lot of work to do, and maps are pretty.
It is. I mean, just looking at the pictures of it, it's a beautiful map. Like they did a lot of work. So I'll probably get it. But
If you like Asian inspired things, absolutely.
I mean, even if you
This is
don't,
where this is where I'm gonna back away from it. I'm sorry.
uh,
Yeah.
so scrolling down a little bit more, the Arcana item. So this, I mean, this also means that we're going to be getting two in the near future, since what's his name got one, Juggernaut.
Juggernaut got one, yeah.
I don't really know how I feel about this
I
item.
love the way they implemented it as well. Just similar to the trials of Sun Wukong in lore, he had to go through almost like Hercules. You know, think of like a Western comparison. He has to go through these trials during his lifetime to kind of transcend his being, his form. And that's what's happening here. He has like 4 forms that you unlock through 4 different trials.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I don't think I'll pick it up. I mean, I like the idea of the hero. I just, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, the future can only tell us so much, right?
Yeah, I don't necessarily love it either. I will say Skin Tint 3 is my favorite.
Yeah, if you could control the tints, or if it, I don't know. I don't feel like it's a bad one at all. And, I mean, obviously it's not even in the game yet, but
I
it's just,
assume you can control the tint, almost like a Phantom Assassin. Like once you got hers, you just flip around the tints, like in the startup menu.
no, it says featuring 4 dynamic styles that change depending on the level of his ultimate ability.
Okay, I don't want it now.
No, I mean it's not a. I mean, but all the stuff that comes with it as well. Cloud riding, run animation.
It's true.
It's cool. I mean, I
It's for
don't.
someone. Someone will enjoy it.
Oh, of course. I mean, isn't Chinese New Year soon too? No.
Spring 2017.
Yeah. Beyond that, another comic, and then the announcer. Yeah, announcer pack, which meh.
Suck with the new HUD.
Yeah, the new HUD. Holy crap! I of all the things I saw, this is the one that I was just like, wow, that like it strikes immediately how the HUD is different.
It's sleek.
It really is like, I mean, the first thing, increased visibility, increased options. So one of the things that always struck me coming from League of Legends, and I mean, Heroes of the Storm is pretty bad for HUD wise, or they've gotten better, but
Oh yeah.
Dota takes up a lot of space. Although I kind of wonder, did they talk about what happens to the HUDs you already own?
That's what I'm saying. The old HUDs, yes, they take up way a lot of space, but they're graphically were kind of a lot of them actually. I have my favorite HUD, of course, and it takes up a nice chunk of the screen, and at the bottom of the screen is always a nice piece of artwork.
I mean, just going over like scrolling through, we see like I mean, they're spoiler alert, the talent trees. Shop and courier. I like everything. It looks a lot cleaner. It's definitely an upgrade across the board. The courier controls are a lot better. I think it's going to help when it comes to courier control versus what like the pros do in pub.
Oh yeah, no, Courier's controls is definitely one of those things that it deserves its own separate lesson, and like when the new guys need to learn Dota, or girls, it's a whole different animal.
We new people need to learn.
I like how everything's centralized right in the bottom though. It's like you see your last kill, last hits denies and everything like that, right in the bottom there too. It's nice.
Yeah, I mean across the board, it looks like it looks like a full improvement. Like I hate to say the old one was bad because it wasn't, but this is just better.
It needs a League of Legends little like crutch that tells you when to pull. Like pull jungle camps now.
Go, go. All
Go,
right,
go.
so new pregame. I honestly didn't look at this earlier. Um, it wasn't loading, and I just got distracted, and then I had to leave. Um,
No, it's fine. The servers are slammed, so it's good that we know this is honest reactions for us, so it's good.
yeah, I mean, you and I looked through a couple of them, talked about them, but yeah. So this is a new approach to battle, pick and phase strategy. So was this just? Oh, so you can tell everybody like this is what I'm looking for.
Nice. And you can suggest. Oh, I like how the team comparison, kind of similar to Overwatch, where it'll tell you like you have too much damage dealers or you have too little damage dealers. Need more CC. It tells you that.
Yeah, down at the bottom. So I'm kind of looking at it right now. Carry, support, nuke, or disable. That's nice. So you can see like, oh, we have way too many carries.
Well, kind of in a general like well-rounded Dota sense, because there are strategies where you just want maybe you just want pushers. Like that's a legitimate way to play Dota.
Yeah,
You know.
it totally is. If you watch Game 3 of OG versus Adfinium,
Yeah.
which is a great game. Uh, so them, familiar. So the filters are there, which is great. Hero highlights, I like that. Team composition seems good. Hero suggestions. I'll click on a portrait to suggest that hero.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah,
So
teammates
you're
will.
saying like you could suggest, you could say like, oh, I think IO would be really good for our team right now, and you suggest it, and maybe someone else will pick up.
Strategy phase. 30 seconds. Once you've locked in a hero, start planning your lanes, reward spots to purchase items. Because yeah, a lot of I was reading, basically an analyst was talking about how a lot of teams will know who they're going to pick, but use up all their time, like the pro teams anyway. They're going to be using up all their time to talk to each other and say, this is what items we think we need to be picking up. Hey, you go to top lane, port in, and put down a ward before anybody gets there. So I think that will kind of, hopefully, giving people 30 seconds extra help.
Now, do you get less time in game before you have to get to lane and things spawn now? Is
I don't
that
think so. I would imagine that this is just you've picked the game, you've picked everything, tell everybody what you want to do, and then get into game, and it's normal.
I like the fact that you can buy from this menu too. Like I love the fact that you can buy from this menu. Because the
Yeah,
item shop is already overwhelming for new players. The fact that you can have 30 extra seconds and know what the item shop is fantastic.
yeah. I mean, I can't think of any downside. You're always going to have those, the redditors who are like, "Oh, my skill cap," but at the end of the day, it's all about like making the game more accessible without lowering the difficulty. And I don't think this lowers difficulty at all. It just seems great.
No, it lowers the APM necessary, but it shouldn't be the limiting factor of Dota 2. Like you don't need to buy 6 items and meet the pre-horn smoke gank. It's just like you got it. Like that's not a part of the game that you need to you're not you're not losing anyone from giving it away. So
Well, it also helps avoid like, when those teams are like, I buy, two people buy like a courier on accident, and then you have to go back and sell it, and then you're just wasting time.
that's
So I
true.
think this is a nice way to do it. So let's go to the gameplay.
Yeah, let's do this. This is the big chunk
Yeah, I
of the
mean,
patch.
I was talking to friends and family and just saying like, hey, this is the game, and explaining how the gameplay is basically like a 20-page list of just insane amount of changes. This alone is enough to be 3 patches worth.
Hmm.
So the talent tree. So Heroes of the Storm players will be very familiar with this.
Yeah, you thought you would never say that. That Heroes of the Storm offered something to this game, but again, Blizzard does it. The originators of Dota itself has innovated Dota 2 in a sense.
Yeah. Well, and also done it better than Heroes of the Storm.
Oh no, I agree. As as the person who created a lot of Heroes of the Storm content, like this is good.
Yeah, because I mean, it gives you choices, but you still have your talents, you still have your items, and like most of the time, it's not really changing the outcome. Like even if you were to put, one or two levels into your, you know, just your character's stats, like the first thing, Vengeful Spirit, here's +8 to your stats. Um, so I think across the board, it's not bad in any way. And like you were saying, oh no, my Medusa points.
No, so for real, there are some key strategies of putting pure stats on certain characters like Medusa, because you Mana Shield doesn't do anything level like early on. You don't really want Mana Shield, and Split Arrow doesn't do anything, so you typically put points and Snake.
Yeah. So
Um, Yeah, and for any skeptics out there, there's so much variety and so much enjoyment you're gonna get out of this system. Like people who love Heroes of the Storms, like Heroes of the Storm games last only like let's say on average 10 to 15 minutes. So that's why you like the variety from talents. But Dota games last a lot longer. But there are times when you might get accidentally fed as a support, and you're like, you know what? I might actually just pick some damage talents out and see how this goes.
yeah, and I mean some of them are ridiculously good. So like when we go down to Wraith King, like at level 25, +20 Vampiric Aura Lifesteal or no reincarnation mana cost, like those are not necessarily game changing, but they're both really good.
I'm trying to get on Dota buff right now. I'm gonna pose a question. What do you think is the average level against a normal average game that a champion will hit?
I mean, it's so varied depending on like if are you talking about a Ricky or are you talking about like the Jakiro one I saw a comment on
Uh,
Reddit that was like, when have you ever seen a level 25 Jakiro?
well, that's what I'm saying. Like position 5 support is never gonna hit level 25. Very rarely will position 5 support hit level 25 unless they're starting to buy tomes, which is a totally weird thing and strategy that might happen now.
Yeah,
Um,
and I mean like even Jakiro, like at level 10 you can choose +15% XP gain.
yeah, so like it's very interesting because I don't know like the amount of times and the amount of games I've actually played the full level 25 even as a carry.
I mean, just kind of scrolling through, we can see it, but I think across the board, these are going to be, they're going to really change a lot of how you play the character. Because I think in the past, I mean,
I
you
hope
and I have done
not,
it.
really.
Well, I think it'll augment it where you don't need as many items to play the way you want. Because like Crystal Maiden at like level 10, 15 magical resistance or 50 damage, that saves you from a full, I mean, not a full item, but at level 10, that's, or 50 damage, sorry, yeah, level 10, 50 damage or 15% magical resistance that's a solid item.
The cast range buff basically eliminates you from getting an ether lens if you don't really want to buy an ether lens.
Yeah,
By level 15.
yeah, or 200 health. It's just, I think it allows you to prioritize what you want to do and do it a little bit more efficiently, especially for the supports. I think this is really good stuff.
Yeah, granted they can get that level, which is going to be very interesting, and we might see a lot more Hand of Midases going around.
Yeah, that's true.
It's one way to get to that high level.
So we scroll down to, and now it says ultimate levels. Ultimate levels are 6, 12, 18. Heroes no longer have the attribute bonus. They got rid of that completely. Heroes now have 4 talents that can be leveled up at 10, 15, 20, 25. Um, yeah.
Yeah,
So
the attribute bonus already. I mourned Medusa's early game again, but that's about it. It's one of the few heroes I actually know that will take a damage, a hit from the attribute bonus abilities. Also, the guys who like illusions.
true. That's true. So reworked XP. This is actually kind of interesting. Um, XP required to reach level 12 is the same as 11. 18 is the previous level 16. So they kind of, yeah, it says it, smooth out XP progression from level 8 to 13 to always be incrementing. Uh, yeah, previously it was 800,000, 1,000, 600, 2,200, 800. so it's just smoothed out. I think ultimate. I don't know. Do you think this is going to change much?
I'm thinking about it. No, I think it's just to show that yes, we are making your ultimates like one level higher to obtain. It's not going to actually be any different fundamentally in the game.
No, and I think looking at the table of XP needed to level up, it seems just it seems more straightforward.
And honestly, if you look at level 25, it's actually going to be significantly less experience to hit max level in 7.00 than 6.88.
Yeah.
So you are going to get that at level 25, you know? You would have been level 23 in where we are live right now, but you'd be 25 instead.
So updated respawn table. I think this one also was interesting because I don't think it was necessarily convoluted before, but it wasn't apparent. And I think this is again just a small quality of life, hey, slightly better. But yeah, I mean,
There's a nice linear progression with certain spikes. Basically, when you get your ultimate, I think it jumps a big number.
yeah, it kind of makes me wonder, like, what was the thought process behind it before? Like, why, you know, I think it even tells, like, the pattern is increments of 2 and then jumps by 10 after ult levels, starting at 18, it increments by 4. I just don't know what it was prior to that.
Yeah.
Gold bounty, also big change there. Kill gold bounty from 110 plus streak level times 9.92, 110 plus streak plus level times 8. So probably a little bit less, but again, flattened out instead of being kind of, you know.
Yeah. Death cost also. Oh, actually, that went up, didn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, it's such a weird, like, I don't think it's bad in any way. I just think there's going to be times it's kind of like when you go to when you're going up or downstairs and there's that step that you feel like should be there and it's not. And I feel like that might be how it's going to end up.
I'm looking at the death cost reworked, and is that better for support? It doesn't feel as bad to die as a support
Yeah, I think
because your
that's how
net
it
worth
is.
is going to be abysmal as a support.
Exactly. So now it's 100 plus net worth divided by 50, as opposed to 30 times whatever your level is. So if you're level 15 as a support, you're probably still pretty poor. So I feel like it's probably a better system.
Yeah, no, especially you want to make supports feel good in this game because I mean I don't think supports were complaining. People who play supports really like supports, but League of Legends changed a lot of their systems for supports because no one wanted to play it because you're a reward monkey.
Yeah, now everybody gets words for free, which I don't think that's necessarily the fix to it. I mean, when you watch League of Legends now, everybody knows where everybody is, and uh, it's less fun to watch. I think. I don't know. Maybe. Hero kill XP, adjusted hero kill XP table. So just looks like, again, flattening out kind of bumps. Also less XP across the board, except for level 25, 24, and 25.
You need less XP anyway, so it kind of makes sense.
That's true. AoE gold adjusted. Um, I think, not bad.
What does AoE gold mean?
So it's per hero. If I'm in an area and you and I would be number 2. So 2 people in the area, it's 100 gold plus 5 times level. Now it'd be 70 gold plus 4 times level.
Like for hero kills, or what are we talking about?
I don't know.
Like assists, like gold splits?
Yeah, I think when it's assisting.
Yeah, because like, in what times do I have to split gold with someone in Dota?
Yeah, I think it's just when you kill a hero.
This is a weird way to phrase it.
Backpack. This one is just, whew, I don't know. I feel like this is going to be insane for pro games and non pub games or stuff like that will be less important because the ability to put something in a backpack, I think, is just crazy.
The skill levels increase dramatically with this. It's like everyone has a courier full of items.
Yeah. I mean, not only that, like you could be holding on to something that like a divine rapier. Like if you have the money for it and buyback in a pro game, I think that something like that is potentially game changing for a team.
Yeah, you keep all your smokes and your dusts there.
Yeah. Oh wait, cannot put following items in a backpack: gem, rapier, bloodstone, aegis. All right, then never mind. So, but still, I think it opens up a lot of possibilities.
Well, there's so many sneaky, stealthy things too, and we saw it in the Boston majors and all the past tournament. You can hide a refresher orb. They have no idea you completed in their bag, and just pull it out like 6 seconds before a major team fight.
That's a very good point. And disabling items now, or disassembling items fills the backpack instead of dropping, which is nice.
Yeah, super nice.
So map changes, and this one's. I'm always nervous about map changes. I don't know how you feel about it.
I mean, maps are very, very hard to balance, and I think that's why a lot of game developers are afraid to touch it.
I mean, and this is a dramatic change too. It is not just like the map changed, or like when Roshan's pit, the opening went from closer to one staircase to more towards the middle. This is a dramatic change. So moving down the list, Roshan moved to the top power up rune spot. So where the runes are now, he now has kind of like an island sitting in the middle
Is
of
that?
the river.
It's not like original roast position, right? Because that's what I think of when I think of like top, like the leftmost river rune spot.
Yeah, it's like in the middle of the river, but towards the top of the river. Like I guess you could say near where like and Baron in League of Legends is, but in the
Roche
middle of the river.
existed there at one point.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, it's such an old game. But beyond just moving him, they buffed his attack, they buffed his armor, the HP got reduced.
Decrease.
Yeah, but his HP, his HP, or no, sorry, his armor from 5 to 15 means he's probably slower to kill.
I want to know how if level 1 Roshan is still doable, and because I know his armor went up, but like his HP got dramatically reduced, so it still might be a thing.
I think it's tougher to do just because of the armor, and it increases the importance of people like Vengeful Assassin or um, anybody who can reduce armor.
Because you would just do, I know like popular, level 1 Roches were like Treant Protector, or not Treant, wow, Nature's Prophet.
Yeah,
That's what I mean. He spawns Treants. So like Nature's Prophet, Luna's, Venges. So people with these auras.
yeah, yeah. I mean, we'll have to see what he's like in game, but I think it will. Um,
I also want to know how it impacts Ursa, if it impacts Ursa.
that's a good point. I mean, because it's less HP, doesn't he do percent X HP damage? Or am I thinking of something else? I might be. No.
I'm not an Ursa player.
Yeah, I've only played Ursa once and it was on accident. I thought he was Tusk. All right, so Shrine. This is one of those things again. I have not looked at this at all. I scrolled right past it.
So I will say, very similar to healing fountains in Heroes of the Storm, there is going to be basically a healing fountain near your team secret shop for your safe lane. So you can tag the shrine, and it gives you increased health and mana regeneration.
Ooh, wow.
And they can't be destroyed until the T2 tower.
Yeah. Oh wow, and 5 shrines inside the base too. So wow.
Yeah, defense is going to be a lot easier.
Yeah. And it's AoE aura. it's not just like a per hero like in Heroes of the Storm. Everybody in the area heals up and gets some mana. So high ground defense is going to be crazy now.
I'm trying to figure out like what's the cooldown of their healing ability.
5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. That's neat. And you can teleport to them, which I think, especially because it's near a secret shop and ancient camp, that's crazy. I like that. I like that a lot. So, runes are in 2 different categories: power up runes, which are haste, double damage, and bounty runes. Bounty runes are no longer in the river. Wow.
Yep. There's 4 of them now.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
This is really a lot of, hey, supports, we hear your problems.
So this is very interesting to me because I see it in 2 different ways. In a very Dota way and a very non-Dota way. In a Dota way, the jungle was definitely supports territory. That was their playground to pull camps and things like that. And the runes make sense because they just pick them up as they're pulling camps. But in a non-Dota way, does this incentivize jungling?
I mean, you could make the case for like, someone, do your supports sacrifice their their quote rune because we don't even know, and then just give it to the jungler and make him, or
The
this opens
jungler
up a
just
lot.
it does. It's mind blowing how much just a small change opens up because now a jungler who has an optimized path could potentially grab both runes at the same time. Maybe you counter jungle and grab their runes.
Yeah,
It also means that your supports, if they just stick to lane, will get higher EXP, which means they'll get more talents.
yeah. Wow, that's a big change. So because oh, and now replenishes 2 charges when filled with, okay, so makes sense. They lowered the alchemist multiplier.
That's true. It also would take a mid laner much longer to reach the bounty rune in your jungle than reaching the river rune, anyways.
Yeah, and I think you kind of saw it during the Boston Major. Jungling wasn't as important as uh, you know ganking. The 3-man lanes were more of a thing. Jungling by itself was more of a go in there, do it quickly, get back out.
Yeah, not that many heroes can jungle with very few items.
Yeah, but I think this is definitely interesting.
There's another change we'll talk about later. That's may actually improve jungling a lot too. Unless you want me to talk about it
Well,
now.
well, here we have jungle reworked entire jungle terrain for Radiant and Dire, and all connecting routes. So we'll have to see that. Hopefully, well,
Spoiler, I got it from somewhere. The dire side Radiance farm does no longer. You can't do that anymore. The whole like
oh
drow
yeah.
ranger on top of the cliff. That cliff has been removed.
I mean that's for the best. It was pretty unfair how you could just stand there and collect all your ancients.
Yeah.
So now 1 ancient, 2 hard, 2 medium, and 1 small. And previously it was 2 hard, 2 medium, 1 small. So wait, is that more? Yeah, it's 1 more.
Interesting. I wonder where they're gonna squeeze that one in.
And then the secondary
No, it's
jungle.
the same.
Oh yeah, they moved 1 from the primary jungle to the
Oh
secondary.
no, the secondary jungle is ancient side jungle has one more camp. You're right.
Yeah, so they moved it. That's what it is. All right, terrain. So rework paths and hiding spots to the left and right of side lanes. Rework many ward spot location jute packs. I mean, they've been doing this. They kind of did that in the past 2 patches as well.
It keeps it from being stagnant again. So you could still mix it up and kind of confuse people.
Yeah, and I think ultimately it doesn't hurt. Like again, you're gonna have those people that are like, my skill cap. Oh, I want to know. I need to blink here. And who was it that did that? Was it Sumail that blinked into trees on accident? I think it was during one of the games they blinked into the trees and were stuck, and then someone had vision on him. They just killed him before because he couldn't move. So neutral changes. So spawn
Ooh.
times went up.
I don't know if I like that. Okay.
Ooh. So this is what you and I have talked about. Dying to neutral creeps now cause your hero to have a minimum respawn of 26, equal to level 6 respawn time. So now it's not advantageous for a support early to just die to agents and, cost nothing. Ancients are no longer spell immune and have 70% magic resistance. Okay.
Okay, interesting. That might allow other people to farm them.
Fallen abilities do not affect ancients. Arcane Orb and Chakram. Alright.
Arcane Orb by
Is that Puck?
that's it. No, that's that was Outworld.
I can't remember. Neutral
Oh,
creeps
okay.
now have 1 mana regen.
Yeah, it's Outworld Devourer's Orb. There's like the attack bonus.
Oh, okay. Huh, alright.
Let's
Yeah.
No, I was saying like the magic resistance rather than spell immunity might. I am really trying to push Lena again. I really like Lena as a character, and raindrops did nothing to help her.
Yeah.
So like I'm just thinking like the fact that you could just drag and slave away ancient camps might be useful.
Swapped out Order of Ancient Thunderhide abilities. Relevant. Oh, relevant for Doom. Okay.
Yes, because Doom now with the Ags upgrade can now devour ancients.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. And there's also new ancients. A new ancient neutral camp, 2 Prowler Acolytes, and 1 Prowler Shaman. The Acolytes have a stacking aura, 10% lifesteal, and 10 HP regeneration. So I think for Shen armies, that's going to be just insane. It also, so I think a lot of this update, I think Lycan is going to be the next big hero.
I think it'll be strong.
Because,
We'll get to that.
Yeah, Helm of the Dominator on a 10% lifesteal, 10 HP regeneration is just crazy.
Helm Ancients? You can't do that.
Oh, yeah, sorry, this is Ancient. Never mind, yeah. Prowler Shaman.
So it makes a difference for like a Life Stealer, which is in meta, and Chen, stuff like that.
Ooh, but with Doom, if he gets this, like, Prowler Shaman, this is some good stuff. It's like 300 AoE, reduce base armor, deals 200 damage. That's pretty good.
Very good. The fact that that's their auto. He doesn't get that ability. The passive. Actually, no, he does.
Other map changes. Tier 4 towers now have same regen as Ancient, which is cool. TP scroll no longer destroys trees. I don't know how I feel about that.
It's gonna be necessary with the number. Like, I mean, I get it might be because of a Monkey King, but like, yeah, you can't just like kill him out of trees.
Like, it even says, like, terrain around towers has been adjusted to ensure there isn't a spot you can't get stuck. But I mean, in some cases, it was actually advantageous to get rid of those trees.
That's true.
Yeah, whatever. Glyph cooldown refreshed by, or now granted 1 second after tier 1 dies rather than immediately. Alright.
And then we have effigy changes and towers do more damage.
15 to 5. Yeah, it seems like just, standard buff stuff or change.
Next change is a big one. Next major category.
Yeah, illusions. Whew.
Yeah, I was talking to you about it. I was texting you during the boss fight major. It's like they still haven't touched illusions at all. It's such a prevalent strategy to just it's so safe too to pick a shadow demon, get a manta style, and just go crazy.
Yeah, and I mean it really showed how many teams picked up Manta Style, picked up Shadow. Who was it? I think it was the OG in the final match. Even they just kept pushing, and you can't really do much against it.
Yeah, because worst case scenario, you lose illusions, and then you know what? They didn't even give gold to the enemy.
So I think this is pretty cool. So 5 plus level gold and XP, which XP alone is, whew, which and that's I mean passively that's a buff to characters like Crystal Maiden with just a ton of AOE.
True.
Uh,
Lion. I'm sticking to Lion. I feel like if this is going to be a real thing, Lion can do a lot of work.
he could, yeah. I mean anybody that I think a lot of the supports will actually passively get a benefit from this.
Yeah, I'm just saying because everyone forgets that you can insta kill illusions.
I am happy to see Wall of Replica illusions give a constant 5 gold XP bounty because even though they are, still illusions, I don't feel like they should be treated the same.
Well, no, what would happen is Darkseer would lose a team fight, and then the wall would still be there, so you walk into it, you would farm the illusion, walk back, you would just keep farm killing money.
Exactly. So let's see. Next is general changes. Oh,
I do want to talk about certain auras now. Certain auras now are generated by illusion. I think this would be a fun one. So you have, wow, what's his name? Necrophos.
Yep.
You have his aura. You have Precision Aura, which is Drow.
Yep.
And what's Essence Aura?
I honestly can't remember. It's somebody I don't play, I don't think.
Here we go. The answer is Outworld Devourer's Mana Aura. That's what that is.
Okay.
You don't see him with a lot of illusions. Not that you see Necrophos with illusions, but I really want this like weird like 6 illusions in Necrophos style where your people are taking like 12% of their max health a second.
Yeah, I mean you just hide them in the trees and hey, everybody around is slowly draining of life.
That's really quick. 10 seconds, anyone is dead, regardless of what items they have.
So, the general changes. I'm interested. So the root mechanic now disables Burrow Strike, Waveform, Blink Strike, Phantom Strike, Reality Rift, Pounce, Skewer, Ball Lightning, Timber Chain, Rolling Boulder, Icarus Dive, Leap, Poof, and Time Walk. So root got a lot more powerful.
Extremely powerful.
And especially since like Crystal Maiden suffered because root was just not terribly useful.
I don't know if they forgot to add it to the list, but there's one ability that's not on that list. And that is AM's Blink. Just straight Blink is not on that list.
That's a good point. Blink Strike is there.
Right. So I don't know if it is a typo, we forgot to add it, or, Anti-Mage may be really, really, really powerful due to not being affected by root.
Well, and you and I kind of talked about it a little bit, which we'll get to soon, hopefully. I mean, we're already at 48 minutes in, and we still haven't even talked about hero changes. But
so a bunch of people are being affected. So Burrow Strike, Sand King, Morphling.
Yeah, it's
Blink
huge.
Strike.
Rolling Boulder is that's a big one.
Yeah, you have Ball Lightning from your Storm Spirits.
Again, I think it's a buff for like Crystal Maiden, the heroes like that.
That'd be nice.
So dispel mechanics, ability tooltips now listed there: undispellable, dispellable, dispellable only by strong. I think meh. Cleave mechanics. So for those of you who really love math and all that,
oh boy,
I think it's interesting to see how the distance on them I think is the biggest thing, where like the distance on Battle Fury is 520 but Empower is 460, Grow is 600, Tidebringer scales up to 900, which I think is insane.
Tidebringer always had ridiculous range.
Yeah, it always did, but I think scaling it from 675, which it still is the farthest on any of them, up to 900 is pretty great. Max move speed 520 that doesn't really matter that much.
Everyone gets increased by the same amount, so it's like whatever. Yeah. It's a nice quicker Dota. It's nice.
Well, I think especially for heroes like what's his name gets movement speed based on low health heroes nearby. Bloodseeker. That's it. Get him moving around the map like a rocket.
Yeah.
Lane creeps now give 50% of experience when denied by neutrals rather than 35. So normal player denies give 50% experience. So just
This is a nice change. This is something that if people don't know already about Dota, if you deny enemy minions, you get experience. Like that's a mechanic that's really it's unless you're really into the game, you would never know.
no, I mean it's so the uses are small. I do like how temporarily move the following heroes. Necrophos techies like an Intriant, which you already mentioned the possibility with Necrophos, what that could mean. But Lycan, I mean, I've been saying all day how I think he's going to be the new hotness.
Yeah, Necrophos is very similar to this. Well, we'll hold off until we're gonna get over that.
Following abilities no longer disjoint projectiles, borrowed time, true form, pounce, metamorphosis, and leap, which I think that's okay. It's a nerf to all those heroes, but meh. It also saves, I think, the annoyingness of, oh, you just change into, metamorphosis and you're good. Leap, though, I think that's a huge nerf because I know multiple times I've even used that to get out of stuff.
Yeah, I was about to say that's Mirana, isn't it? And that is a big nerf to Mirana.
Yeah, well, she needs one. I mean,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, she
often does
definitely does need one.
But now, Test of Faith, Recall, and Morph Replicate do disjoint projectiles, which is okay. And Splinter Blast's secondary hit and Soul Assumption are disjointable, which, okay. I didn't know that
See
they.
a lot of Yeah, we don't see a lot of Wyvern or whatever. Yeah, a lot. So
People try to make her work, but I think she can on the right team, but whatever. Gosh, Moonglaive, all this stuff.
Oh, this is a big one. That's a big one actually. After Boston Majors and how much like I talked to you about how much Luna impacted that tournament. Moonglaive is Luna's glaive, right?
Yes.
And if you didn't know, I had to look at it. I was like, what the heck is spell amplification? Spell amplification is the bonus damage you get from intellect.
Gotcha.
So basically, her glaives now no longer get boosted by her intellect, and she already naturally stacked a lot of intellect, being like illusion carrier. So that's an indirect. No, actually, it's a direct nerf to Luna. So there you go.
Yeah. All right. Fix the following passives not being disabled. All right. Scroll past all that. All right. Item changes. Abyssal Blade. Block chance reduced from 100 to 50. Cool. Ether Lens. Bonus range is up, which is cool, and the recipe increased kind of to match.
Boo. Yay and boo.
Yeah, it definitely isn't a nerf or a buff. It just means people will be getting it later, which I think is better.
50 gold later is like 2 minions.
Yeah. Self-attack speed reduced or attack. Bloodstone no longer reduces respawn time to less than 1 second. Not important because honestly,
right.
it doesn't really happen that much. The bottle change is actually pretty cool.
So this is the big one that I was telling you. Yeah, where I kind of hinted at when we were talking about jungle. So I'll let you finish that.
I mean, it behaves like Blink and only dispels if actual damage was taken, and only if the damage source is from a player or Roshan. So I think, especially in the past, it was just like you would accidentally, walk by something, get hit, and it was just you wasted a whole charge.
Right. So this does two things. For new players, it doesn't punish them for being hit by a range creep while trying to use bottle or clarity.
Right.
So it feels better, and then it might actually implement like new things may be possible with the fact that you can have a jungler that's constantly chugging tangos.
Yeah, I think it across the board is a good change. I don't think there's anything bad with it, especially now that you only get 2 charges from it. Bracer cost down. Cheese increases regen of or restore of mana, which is cool. Clarity potion change similar. Crimson Guard passive block chains reduced. Okay. Guard now affects buildings. I think is really great. So I don't know how you feel about that, but I've built Crimson Guard a few times, and that's really nice.
Seems nice.
Daedalus, damage reduce, critical strike increase.
More Kunkka buffs. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I mean it kind of is, because now it decreases the need on like auto attack, wind wind runner stuff like that, but increases on the heavy hitters. Diffusal blade only target enemies now. Cannot self target. Okay. Dragon Lance, strength reduced. Drums of Endurance is. This is a good one. I think it's a great thing for your supports. Dust of Appearance no longer requires mana. Enchanted Mango's on sale for 110 gold.
And the next big changes is Iascati is no longer a unique attack modifier.
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah, you're gonna see a lot of these unique attack modifier. There's a bunch of items that are no longer unique attack modifiers. Unique attack modifiers, if you didn't know, you can only have one of these per character.
Yeah, I think it just increases the amount of times where you've had someone choosing between one or the other. This gives you another thing that you don't have to choose between.
Well, you can get perma-slow on everyone. Yay.
Geometry Sight, Glimmercay, Heart of Tarask. That's a big change. Regen from 4.7 to 7%.
We don't see this item enough. A lot, I mean, but yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah, it's a good change. Heaven's Halberd, again, an item that very rarely gets seen, but I think that's enough that it's not overpowered, but still good. Helm of the Dominator. What's the difference here? No longer requires 75 mana. Okay.
I don't think. Apparently, people were building multiple Helms of the Dominator, which I've never seen before, but apparently that's that change.
Oh, all right.
So people can be like pseudo bad Chen. I don't get it. Why would you do that?
Well, I think for heroes like Lycan, again, it's a positive on everything that he wants. Plus, if you had two people you can control, it's really good.
I mean, carries normally, if you're a safe lane carry, like Helm of the Dominator not only gives you the does that give health lifesteal anymore? Huh. Okay, so basically it allows you to stack ancient camps from afar. You would just dominate a minion, drop it at your ancients, and pull every minute.
I don't know. All right, so Iron Talon no longer increases a percentage of base damage, but provides additional damage in non-hero units. It does work against Roshan. Okay. And cooldown is increased. So I mean, honestly, that item was getting overpowered.
I mean, it was a safe item for your offlane carry to pick up to last hit effectively on your tower.
Yep.
Now it's harder for them to do it. It became an item less about the jungle and more about like if you're bad at last hitting, pick up an item. Or not bad at it. I mean, these professional players picked it up because they were being punished too hard in lane.
Maelstrom, again, no longer unique attack modifier. Morbid Mask, cost is up, now provides 15 damage. So I think the cost going up that much isn't terrible, 300, but 15 damage for it is good.
Yeah, it's nice.
Mask of Madness rework previously was a little bit cheaper, still lifesteal damage, and grants 100% attack speed and 17% movement speed. Oh, but now you're silenced and
right. The silence thing is huge.
So for auto attack, for like Drow, it's still really great, but okay.
You would still use Drow abilities though, like while she was momming.
Medallion of Courage no longer has half value against Roshan, so that's a big one.
Yeah, since his armor went up, it made sense that you could now shred his armor more.
Yeah. Mjolnir is no longer a unique attack modifier. Monkey King Bar no longer provides 15 attack speed. Okay.
Yeah, Monkey
Moon
King
Shard, huge buff to Moon Shard. I mean, not huge, but I mean, more night vision from 250 to 300 is good. Necronomicon. So I think, again, just the attack damage increase, mana break reduce, The Archer and Warrior from hero to basic. Oh, from their armor. Okay. And mana burn reduced from 20 to 7. I think it's a buff for Lycan or anybody who
Basically Lycan, yeah.
Oblivion Staff, attack damage reduced, intelligence increased, so making it more. Yeah.
This Octarine Core nerf.
Octarine Core, that's a nerf. Hard nerf. Poor Man's Shield, non-hero proc chance reduced. I think especially 3% is not a big deal, but you just need a little bit because it was just too. There was no reason to ignore it. Quelling Blade no longer increases the percentage of base damage, and bonus damage works against Roshan. Okay. Radiance damage increased from 50 to 60. Damage on illusions reduced from 50 to 40, which is really good.
Kind of ironic because you're like Radiance builds on. I'm thinking of Spectre right now. She's a Radiance carrier that likes illusions.
Yeah, or like Naga.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
I think especially like in the EG versus Complexity game, you saw Naga where it basically was the team couldn't even get top, so they just kept sending in illusions with Radiance. Rod of Atos applies a root.
I like this a lot.
Huh.
Rather than applying slow, it applies just a straight root.
Sanj, slow duration increase and main chance increase, so really good. Satanic, I think especially because you saw the other two items that build with it get changed. Makes sense this was changed.
Right.
Shadow Amulet. It's so many changes, so I'm just going to skip through some of these because it's like, you know, we could sit here all day talking about it. Alright, hero changes. So honestly, rather than go through each and every single change, because it's already, what, an hour and a minute, and I would like to get some rest eventually. Let's kind of skip through, like, Abaddon. I think this is, you know, just a buff.
Oh, you're going to hero changes now. Okay.
Yeah. Abaddon buff, Alchemist nerf, which he needed.
Yeah.
It's not much, though.
I'm looking at some of the talents. Can I go over them?
Yeah, the trees. I think the talent trees, I'd love to get into them, but it's just, there's so much. You could talk for an hour about each and every one of these.
Yeah, I mean, we'll go over any notable ones.
Yeah.
I like AA a lot, but yeah.
Yeah. Cold Feet cannot target a unit already affected, which, okay.
Because of his level 25 talent. Like, a lot of these changes that you'll notice in the bullets are only there because of a change based on the talent tree. And you'll see it with things like Dazzle and stuff like that shortly.
Yeah. Anti-Mage added a Scepter for Anti-Mage, which is, man, I think this is insane. Added a Scepter causes Spell Shield to passively block and reflect a targeted spell once every 12 seconds. That, I don't know, I feel like that is just...
You get a free Lotus Orb every 12 seconds. It also,
not only that, it reflects it. So Lotus Orb just blocks it. This reflects it back.
Okay, the other thing too is reminds you it is a targeted spell. AoE still hit him.
Yeah. I mean, but...
So like, he can... I mean, what I'm saying is you can still get, like, Enigma ulted. You can still get CM, like, slow. There's a lot of things you can still get hit by.
Yeah, it is a crazy late game, like, buff. I mean, it's every point of the game. It makes Aghanim Scepter kind of like Mirana, where it's like, yeah, why would you ever pick up Mirana without Aghanim Scepter? Why would you?
I guess you have to evaluate it in this sense, is how is he going to get it? And does it actually provide a damage increase? Because, like, I think if you see Anti-Mage, he might be paired with Alchemist, so Alchemist can farm him the Ag Scepter.
Yeah, I mean, it is still flat. You know, even if you pick the stats alone are so good with the Scepter, but I think
Mirana got it because it allowed her to farm and allowed her to, like, burst for, like, double damage during team fights.
Yeah. I think this is a pretty flat, not nerf, but just it kind of changes. Art Warden was never somebody that, like, pro teams don't necessarily like him because he's flat, but on pub matches he can be insane if somebody plays him well.
Well, he's very powerful, and I think they're very scared of where Arc Warden can go. And this is the first time he's implemented in Captain's mode, so
Yeah.
we can only see what happens. Mind you, that remember that he gives 100% evasion to your towers.
Yeah, that's that alone is really powerful. But then you combine like he has, two Midas, Hand of Midas that he can just farm up. So as soon as he gets that, it's just he
What's his
can.
talents though? Actually, now that you talk about that, they're okay. They're not overwhelming, and that's probably because he can hit 25 before most other people.
Yeah, he's kind of like any of the illusion based heroes. Once they hit a certain point, they just snowball. I'm gonna skip all the way down to Bounty Hunter, just because
That's what I
again,
was gonna do too. They're
yeah,
just talents.
yeah, the talents. And if you're watching this long, which I guess an hour, I can't expect anybody to be watching, but I like doing this anyway. Um, these are some of these are pretty insane, but for the most part, it's all just check them out. Look at the heroes you like. But the Scepter for Bounty Hunter allows Toss to bounce twice on each hero, bounces on everyone once, then bounces each one again.
Big cooldown, and his talent with Janata's cooldown being
Yeah,
reduced by 5 seconds.
yeah, he still suffers from very low mana, but something like that in a team fight could be insane because that Janata does a ton, or Shuriken Toss does a ton of damage.
Yep. Carry Bounty Hunter coming back.
Brewmaster getting pretty solid buffs.
I don't even touch this champion. I don't understand.
I love Brewmaster, but he suffers a lot from just he's slow. Once you get him online and get him moving around, he's really good. But um, this is just a good buff across the board for him. Bristleback, Max Stacks is up. Okay. Broodmother, Lifesteal, rescaled. So possibly more.
It is more. That's her ultimate ability, and also it's non-dispellable too.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, she didn't get that much play recently, so that makes sense. Chaos Knight. I know you wanted to talk about him.
One of my big two favorite. The other one is Treant Protector of this patch. So yeah, he gets a Scepter buff. He gets an all-around buff, and well, kind of. He gets a side grade with Reality Shift. It is an armor debuff instead of adding bonus damage, which is better for the team and less good for you. Crit hit chance increase, and his Scepter now reduces the cooldown of his ultimate, which I think reduces it to 100 seconds, which isn't fantastic, but he can clone any hero now. Mind you, this is up to 4 100% damage illusions at max level.
With a 1200 cast range.
Yeah.
I mean, you could. Were you saying Chaos Knight support?
Yeah, I would support Chaos Knight because, like, if you look at level 25, just like what's her name, Venge, he does his Reality Rift, his stun now pierces BKB. Like one is a PKB piercing stun at level 25. It also he does have a stun. People forget that he does have a stun.
Yeah, I think you make a good case, and especially like we saw what can happen with illusions for like from a support on Shadow Demon, but Phantoms is 100% damage in the middle of a team fight. Being able to do that like on a carry like Anti-Mage or something, I think is unstoppable.
Yeah, I think this is also why they made him not that his ability Phantoms. I think they made it not disjoint projectiles too, because that'd be a little too overpowered. Just to like disjoint a projectile and like carry and then summon 4 copies of them.
So Crystal Maiden, Scepter rework. I don't like this. I mean, it's good, and for team fights, it makes more sense. Previously, her Aghanim
Ult did
Scepter,
more damage, right?
yeah, it did more damage, and I think it reduced the cooldown. Now it applies Frostbite to anybody in it for 2.5 seconds, but I feel like that's too long.
They have to be in there for 2. Wombo combos, like if you get an axe in there or a Winter Wyvern or an Enigma, it just becomes huge, especially at level. I mean, again, granted, I keep saying like level 25 doesn't happen that many games. The plus 1.5 second frostbite duration.
Yeah, it's interesting, but I don't think it's a necessarily a buff.
I wish she got Luna's effect on her ultimate, where she could cast it at a targeted area
Yeah.
instead.
All right, skipping along. A lot of these are just like, yeah, Scepter done this. Huskar, no change. Invoker got a ton of changes, but I honestly, Invoker players, they know that way better than I do, and I don't know enough to say. Like, I think
He's getting nerfed.
he is. He needs a nerf, but also at the same time he doesn't, just because he requires his team to kind of support him in the early and mid game, but in the late game he's too powerful. So I think that kind of fixes that.
I mean, everything between this change, the Octarine change, the change to the EXP, like they need to be very careful with Invoker because Invoker is one of the few champions that actually built Hand of Midas because he wanted to be max level. He needed to be max level, and now that everyone's pushing him to be max level, they made it really easy for him to get there.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, trust in Ice Frog, I guess. Lycan, so kind of, we're scrolling down a lot here, but hero rework, which I am so excited about. As a Lycan player, he had gotten too strong, but then he got nerfed way too much. So Howl now behaves like a normal buff rather than pseudo aura. I don't know what that means. I felt like it was just a buff before, but I guess or pseudo aura.
You'll see. You'll see. I'm
Howl
sure.
duration increased from 10 to 13, which is massive. Bonus damage reduced, which makes sense since you've got the other changes that have happened. Howl
Buffs may be dispellable where auras are not.
Okay. So Howl provides 50, 200 max HP increase to heroes. So that's a huge buff. I mean, the
Doubled at nighttime.
Yeah.
400 health for your entire team.
He's going to be very powerful.
I'm gonna predict a lot of wow, what's his name? I'm gonna see a lot of oracles. That's what my prediction is.
Yeah, I think the change here now, the Wolfskin invisibility at level 4 and cripple at level 3s, it's better. He got his power at mid game was too much and late game was not enough. This kind of changes the way he plays a little bit. But
they don't have regen anymore either.
Look at that, level 25 plus 2 wolf summons. You could have a possible 4 wolves around it.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna see again. I predict a lot of oracles because Oracle is one of the characters that does have an AOE dispel.
True. Necrophos.
He reminds me a lot of Vladimir in League of Legends.
Yeah.
So no more Punisher style Aghanims upgrade. So he just gets cooldown reduction on it. People can still buy back on him.
It seems like they made him more of a normal support instead of a damage focused support.
I mean, I'm thinking of like Necrophos wasn't always a support. You could also like offlane Necrophos.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking of like I'm really thinking of the vein of like offlane Necrophos because in this vein as a support he got nerfed. He does not heal as much with Death Pulse anymore.
True.
He does not deal damage or heal as much with Death Pulse.
But Death Pulse now provides regen, HP and magic regen for each unit you kill.
Yeah, it's because Sadis no longer does that. He used to have an ability where every time he last hit a unit, he would get regen back, and they removed that ability now with Ghost Shroud, and this is really interesting. So he gets like Ghost Scepter passively.
Yeah.
So he can go semi-invisible and just reduce movement speed around him, and then increase damage done.
Seems good.
Which is really interesting because you just basically just go Shroud and then just spam Death Pulse.
Yeah, I think he's another one that might get more play now.
Yeah, I don't know why he's disabled in Captain's Plan.
I think it's like he and Lycan both. It's there's so much room for they're either going to be absolutely terrible or insanely overpowered, and I think rather than put them in, just take them out for now, let it see how it ranges. Because I mean, what was it that the last one that he did that with, and then put them in after 2 weeks?
Yeah, no, I'm just imagining that the when you're playing Necrovos not the intended way, basically by cloning illusions of Necrovos and killing people with Heartstopper Aurora.
Yeah, and I think that's
Because
probably what they're afraid of.
yeah, you can't go in on 14% max health damage a second on your entire team.
All right, so let's see. Scrolling down to Phantom Lancer. So Phantom Rush, um, additional agility, which I think is pretty cool. Um, it definitely increases his viability. Added the scepter to him causes Spirit Lance to bounce on nearby enemies.
So that's his Q that summons clones.
Yeah, which in team fights, bounce cap is 5, but that's going to be really crazy during a team fight to just watch all those illusions pop up.
And then you juxtapose and just reorder them all. It's pretty nice.
Yep. All right, scrolling.
Phoenix is
Ricky.
no longer pure damage. Makes me
Oh
sad.
yeah. That's a big nerf to Phoenix. Yeah, to from pure to magic, which I think that's the biggest nerf to Phoenix versus who was it? Druid, because the bear would just get melted.
Okay.
So Ricky, added scepter for Ricky, increases ultimate duration by 4 seconds, allows you to target an allied hero hiding inside of them for the duration. The radius that you attack follows the hero 1,000 cast range. So I was kind of explaining this to my wife earlier because I was saying how funny it was that Reddit had said Pocket Ricky and they made it Pocket Ricky. I like it. I think it's a great buff and it makes him even more of a support.
Support Ricky fell out of place, and we saw a lot of support on Nyx Assassin actually.
Yeah.
Boston Mage.
Well, because he's just too easy to kill. Once you throw down a anything, it's like, oh, there he is, and he's dead.
Does Tricks of the Trade actually do that much damage?
No, but I mean, there's been fights where who was it? Somebody drafted him during the Boston Major, and they managed to stay right outside the fight when it started, and as soon as everyone got below 50% health, they used it, and it killed 2 people. It was great. So nothing. Skywrath Mage. This one, I don't know how I feel about this. This is interesting. Like
it was what versus his old scepter was a no cooldown ult, but it costs a lot more mana.
Yeah.
I think.
He never saw any. Like I don't think I ever saw anybody use it.
This, however, I will say will probably see play. Two player silence, 2 player slow, 2 player damage nuke. Yeah, I think so.
It's good. Slark, definitely a huge buff. This is the Slark already saw a lot of play, but the Aghanim Scepter upgrade to him, like a 325 AoE, hiding all heroes underneath it, like his ability to
and
jump,
healing them.
Yeah, it's insane.
The question then again posed, and this is where I think you might see Slark Alchemist. Slark doesn't have time to build Ags in his current build. Especially now that he's going to fish for a bunch of the new items that are not unique attack modifiers anymore.
Yeah, I think it definitely increases the Alchemist, like, hey, buy me an Aghanims, but in late game, you could see, I mean, a Slark being able to buy that, it saves heroes. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it does.
Sniper, I don't really
I'm excited about
this
one.
If you want to tell me, I really don't understand it.
So I think a lot of people have been experimenting, or like this is in pubs, by the way. No pro team has pulled this out as it's support sniper. Because you have vision, you mini bash on hit, so you do actually apply slows and stuns and provide vision.
Okay.
Assassinate now is ground targeted. So you his ultimate now ground targets. Let me look at how much damage it does.
And after channel launches a 2.8 critical strike and procs headshot on the player-controlled units in the AoE. Only affects visible heroes and illusions, so it'll clear out illusions pretty quick.
Yeah, it's a 320, 500, 650 damage nuke. It's a huge damage nuke.
Ah, all right.
And it hits in an AoE now. It also means if you don't have vision on the enemy, I assume you could just cast it blindly too now.
Yeah, I mean you could. Wow, that's interesting. All right, techies. I don't know enough about techies to say, but it seems like this is just a giant change.
Reddit says nerf.
It is, but I think honestly, if I had to guess, like reading it, because again, I don't know enough about him, like it seems like this is 100% to deal with the people that just bought, like play scripts techies. Because
Proxy, please.
yeah, because proximity mines is no longer like it just seems like it's just a weird. I don't know. I don't know enough about him to say like, oh, this is why they're doing it, and he barely gets played as it is. I think this isn't necessarily bad, but I think it 100% is like just reading the changes with mines, the changes to like stasis trap. It's
His Suicide Squad is gone too, which
yeah.
is
Well, because that was one of those things that you'd see the script kiddies like as soon as they got jumped on, they'd suicide bomb. And it was like you can't kill them because they just suicide every single time they get ganked, unless you can stun them up first. All right, so going down your treant protector. So what is your take here?
let me get there. So his invisibility is now passive. You don't have to cast it. You're just invisible when next to a tree after a certain amount of time. Most importantly, though, you still get the movement speed bonus. When you attack out of invisibility, you bash and stun the target. It gives him another form of CC that's not his ultimate, and he just becomes a giant dick. Like he could just go out and you max level it. You just bash him for 2.2 seconds, set up a gank for your support, and then just go invisible again.
That is pretty great.
And you
Wow,
just go.
look at that. Level 25 is a 20% 2-second bash.
He's gonna be good,
That
and people already like know that Treant Protector. He's definitely your position 4. Like he wants an Axe because not only do you have wards everywhere, your wards do his ult cast. So you ward up every single jungle, like every single neutral camp. You ward up a bunch of different places, and you just basically ulti the entire map just to make a billion. You just make so much money.
all right, Underlord added to Captain's mode. Pit of Malice no longer pierces spell immunity, no longer interrupts, no longer deals damage, root duration. I think honestly, having played him in a couple bub matches recently, Pit of Malice is just stupid powerful.
Yeah.
I don't have any problem with that because it's also really frustrating to play against it. Visage, huge buffs to Visage. I don't know. Have you
He's
ever
gonna
played
be
him?
He's not my favorite. He's not my type of character.
I had to do him for my all hero challenge thing. He's when played well, which I'm not gonna say I played him well, but like once I got used to him, he's crazy powerful. But I think the nerfs to his familiars and stuff, and now the buffs, it's a big change. I think he'll finally get played again.
I need to check something.
Mm,
What's Power Shot's normal cooldown? 9 seconds? Ah, feels good. Windrunner. I really want it to be a thing. Her Power Shot at level 25 has a 4-second cooldown. And its damage amplification goes up, and the flat damage goes up.
She really hasn't seen much play recently. I think there's just other better choices, but this hopefully, I mean, maybe it'll give her some more. Zeus Scepter rework. This one, I can't get over this one. This is crazy. So like grants you a new ability, Nimbus, creates a storm cloud anywhere on the map that casts lightning bolt automatically on the closest enemy within 500 AoE once every 2.5 seconds. So it's a lightning bolt cast, which is great already. It lasts 50 seconds. The cooldown is 50 seconds. You can basically chain it. Mana cost is 275. Requires 8 hits from a ranged hero to kill, 4 from melee, 16 from non-heroes, and has a 100 gold bounty. It's a global cast range that I feel like is insanely powerful.
I'm trying to imagine how many hits it would get off normally, but I guess yeah, it's good.
I mean, it's just, even if you use it as nothing else, it's like another way, because it's global and it does damage. So you put it in a spot where, hey, are they over there right now? You drop it down there. Not only are you seeing, are they in fact there, but
Well, mind you, his ult also gives vision.
exactly. So now he becomes, I don't want to say he could be another support character, but
Please no. Please
no.
no Zeus supports.
But I mean, just like that alone, being able to know where everybody is without having like, that's really good. I mean, that's the end of that. Which again, if you've seen this far into the video, please by all means go back, look at all those talent trees. What's that?
There's a new prettier Slardar Viper in Enigma.
Ah, yes, the also in this update page.
Those are the only 3 notable things.
Yeah.
Oh, that, and you can script your own bots if you really wanted to.
Yeah, the Slardar rework, his new model looks awesome. Vipers does. Enigma, I don't really understand what's different about him.
They took Slardar's packs and gave them to Enigma. Pro level commentary over here.
I mean, some much better showcase view improvements. Wind-blown trees, tree scales. So I like that. The trees are now bigger, which I like.
Please. Now you have more reasons to play in Showcase View only.
I mean, showcase view is really cool for tournaments and for just like, I don't know, when the game's paused. Dynamic grass. It's cool.
Nah, man, it's new meta. You have to play in Showcase View.
Did you see first-person sniper mode? The video?
Please no.
Oh, it's terrible. I mean, but that is the update. I'm impressed that we made it through.
Oh my god, that was a slog, but it was a fun slog.
It was. I'm so excited to play. I love Dota anyway. I don't think this is going to my biggest problem, just the game length. I don't think there's anything necessarily that's going to fix that, but
it definitely got shorter. If anything, it's definitely going to get shorter.
Yeah, I love Sun Wukong. I think he's going to be a fun guy to play.
I'm going to be spamming Chaos Knight in all lanes.
I think Chaos Knight support would actually be really great. So yeah, that's the update. You have anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, that was it. Well, yeah, we're more MOBA.
Yeah, we're more MOBA. If you've stayed through this hour and a half, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. I'm Leviathan.
And I am Corposant.
And yeah, well, if you want to give us our outro, you're always the one that does it.
Well, I'm this mysterious, omnipresent voice. I think you should this time.
All right. There are usually 3 lanes, 2 jungles.
2 jungles.
And 1 website for MOBA news. That is moremoba.com. Yeah, I'm Leviathan. This has been Leviathan Corposant. Yeah, the 7.0. Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
We'll see you next time.
Yeah, all right.